I don't allow attorney shopping in this court. Whoever comes up on the wheel, that's who your attorney is. When a deputy at the jail tells you you're supposed to be dressed for trial, you're dressed for trial. And when your time, you were told before and you didn't do it. If you ever come back to this court where a deputy at the jail has told you to dress for trial and you're not dressed, you know what's going to end up happening? You're going to be going to trial in that red jumpsuit. That red uniform has several meanings attached to it, just the way the orange ones does and the blue ones does. The red, gang member.
Today, we're in Judge Boyd's courtroom, and we've got an entitled brat who thinks the world revolves around him, and he can do whatever he pleases. From the moment he opens his mouth, you can tell he's never been told no in his life. He's rolling in with that smug attitude like he owns the place, not realizing he's seconds away from a legal reality check. You can practically see the judge's patience evaporating before the hearing even starts. This guy's about to find out that arrogance doesn't mix well with a courtroom full of people who actually follow rules. It's a crash course in humility, and class is now in session. Do you think he'll finally learn his lesson, or he's too far gone to get it through his head? Let's dive in and watch.
That you do not want to come dressed for trial when you're supposed to be dressed for trial.
Well, believe it or not, Ms. Boyd, I wasn't aware of this trial in the first place. And
no, because here's the thing. Firstly, when a deputy at the jail tells you you're supposed to be dressed for trial, you're dressed for trial. And when your time, you were told before and you didn't do it. And guess what? If you ever come back to this court where a deputy at the jail has told you to dress for trial and you're not dressed, you know what's going to end up happening? You're going to be going to trial in that red jumpsuit. And you know why you're going to be going to trial in that red jumpsuit? Because it's going to have been your choice. I am not having you come back to this court again where you're pretending as though nobody told you you had a jury trial. The other thing, you're saying that your attorney is telling me that you want another attorney?
That's correct.
All right, then you need to hire one. Do you understand?
I don't have any support issues. Support at all as we speak right now at the moment.
What support for what?
Ordinary to hire an attorney.
Oh, well, then this is your attorney. This is what I've discovered. And I've told many people this before. This is what ends up happening. When you, as a defense attorney, are placed to represent somebody and you've been appointed to represent them, number one, there are certain qualifications that you must have. This is a third-degree felony. It may be bumped up to a second-degree felony based upon what's in the indictment. This attorney would not have been appointed to your case if he didn't have the qualifications to be on this case. I don't allow attorney shopping in this court. Whoever comes up on the wheel, that's who your attorney is. The state will tender an offer to your attorney because I require the state to tender an offer. State can make an offer and say, we're offering 20 years. The state can say they're offering the maximum. Guess what? Your attorney has absolutely really no control over what the state is offering. So even if your attorney were to go to the state and say, well, these are the weaknesses in your case, and this is what my client is willing to accept, the state can still say, I am not going to offer your client what he wants. The only thing I will offer you is A, B, or C. And your attorney ethically is obligated to tender that offer to you. Now, you can accept it or not. That's completely up to you. There are certain rights you have when you're charged with the offense. One of them is whether or not you will accept an offer or not, and whether or not you will testify at trial, and what plea you will enter. Do you understand? So you're not getting another attorney. If you want to hire one, you are more than welcome to hire one. So this is your attorney. Next question.
Why does my case carry at least prison time and not probation?
Here's the thing. You will have to speak to your attorney. What I can tell you is there are certain cases, number one, that you are not eligible for probation. There are certain cases that if you go to a jury trial and if you are found guilty, you're not eligible for probation. There are some cases that if you go to jury trial, maybe you're eligible for probation from a court. But I cannot tell you whether or not, just based upon looking at your case, which would be the indictment for me, whether you're eligible or not. What I can tell you, though, Usually, if you have a repeater count and you go to a jury trial, you are not eligible for probation.
This man's causing problems before he even walks into the courtroom, and the judge is clearly not having any of it. First of all, when you're told to dress for court, that doesn't mean pick out your cleanest jail-issued jumpsuit. It means come in looking like a functioning adult. You're supposed to show the court that you respect the process, not look like you just escaped from it. Showing up in red is basically screaming guilty with extra effort. And then trying to lie about not being told to dress appropriately, yeah, that's not gonna fly with Judge Boyd. The audacity of this guy thinking he can choose his attorney like he's shopping for produce at a farmer's market is wild. If you can't afford one, you don't get options, you get whoever's available and willing to deal with your nonsense. This isn't Build-A-Bear, you don't get to pick the accessories and personality of your defense. The courtroom doesn't cater to preferences, it enforces laws. This man's out here acting like he's running the show when really he's the one on the script, and the judge's pen decides the ending. You can actually see the judge holding back laughter at how ridiculous his excuses sound. At this point, the only thing this guy's building is a longer criminal record and a reputation for being the courtroom clown.
So you need to speak to your attorney about that, and I'm sure your attorney will tell you whether or not you're eligible. Think of criminal history this way. If you have somebody that you loan money to, right? Let's say somebody comes to you and they say, can you loan me $50 and I'll pay you back next week? And you say, yes, I will loan you the $50. What are you going to use it for? Oh, I got to pay my electric bill, which that would be a good electric bill these days. And that person gets the $50 and they don't pay you back. And you said you'd pay me back on this day. You're not paying me back. That person comes to you for a second time and said, look, I'm in dire straits. They're about to cut off my electric bill. I need $60. And you tell them, you know what? I gave you $50 just last week and you never paid it back. And they're like, I know, I'm so sorry for doing that, but I promise you this time I will pay it back and I really need the $60. So you loan them $60 and they don't pay it back. And then they come to you for a third time. You may say, I'm not going to loan you any money. I don't care what your problems is because I've loaned it to you 2 times before and you haven't paid it back. Sometimes people view criminal history that way. And when I was a prosecutor, sometimes people would view criminal history that way. They would say, you know what? I gave you probation before, you didn't do well on it, and you pick up another case. I gave you probation the second time, you didn't do well on it, and you pick up another case. So maybe that could be a reason why people make offers that they make. But what I want you to take away from this conversation is this attorney, according to the will, is qualified to handle the type of case that you're charged with. And I would tell you one of the qualifications they must have, and Mr. Gomez, correct me if I'm wrong, he has to have tried cases before, and he has to have tried felony cases before. You can't just have tried misdemeanor cases and then come to felony court and say, oh, I'm qualified. That's not how it works. So he's tried the necessary cases. And if you are upset by the offer that he is tendering to you, no, that is the offer that is the state has made. And in this court, I require everybody to treat each other with kindness. So I guarantee you, when the state made him that offer, the state wasn't mean. The state just says, this is the offer I'm making. And I expect you to treat your attorney with respect. I'm sure your attorney will treat you with respect. But again, if you want a different attorney, you need to retain an attorney. So that means you need to go out and hire an attorney. And if you don't have the money to hire an attorney, then this is your attorney. Do you understand? The other thing I want you, that's either yes or no.
Yes, miss.
The other thing I need you to understand, and again, we're not doing this anymore. If you are at the jail and they're ordering you dressed for court, that's me ordering you dressed for court because you're up for trial. And I will not have any qualms whatsoever with you going to trial dressed in that red uniform. And you and I both know that red uniform has several meanings attached to it, just the way the orange ones does and the blue ones does. The blue one for females. Orange, just regular inmates. The red, gang member, age issue, in admin segregation. Yellow with stripes, pregnant, or just yellow, pregnant. Tan or grayish looking color, trustees. So if you want to come to trial dressed in red, that is completely up to you. Do you understand?
Yes, miss.
Do we understand each other?
Yes, miss.
Do you understand the offer that the state has made to you? That's either yes or no.
Yes.
Do you need to confer with your counsel anymore on the offer that the state has made to you? And if you would like to make a counter offer, I'm sure if you would tell your attorney, well, I want to accept this, but this is what I will accept. That's what's called a counter offer. But what that means is you're telling the state, I'm not accepting your offer. I will only accept this. So that means that you're rejecting the state's offer and it may or may not appear for you again. Do you understand?
Yes, miss.
And I'm sure this attorney will be able to tell you what your range of punishment is in this type of case. I cannot tell you that because I don't know the facts of your case. The only thing I have before me is an indictment. You understand?
Yes, miss.
Do you need to speak with your attorney some more? Do you need to see what evidence the state is saying they have?
No, miss.
Have you already seen that?
Not quite yet, but yes, I have.
Mr. Gomez, will you let him see that since we're all here?
If I could confer with him again.
All right. So your attorney is going to confer with you.
The fact that a judge has to explain to him like he's a kid that breaking the law equals consequences is just embarrassing. How do you make it this far in life and still not understand cause and effect? You can't keep stacking charges and expect a participation trophy in the form of probation. Somewhere along the way, he missed that life lesson everyone else learned in kindergarten. If you touch the stove, you get burned. Watching him stand there clueless while the judge spells out reality was painful. He looked lost like a bird that flew into a window and couldn't figure out what just happened. The way he acts, you'd think prison was a fashion choice. Showing up in a red jumpsuit to court after being told to dress up, that's either defiance or straight up stupidity. Some people just refuse to grow up until life forces them to, and honestly, you can tell that Judge Boyd was holding back from saying what everyone else in that room was thinking. You did this to yourself. Hopefully this was the wake-up call he needed, but with that attitude, I wouldn't bet on it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, take care.